Hello and welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon, Delhi NCR. St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management is the best college in Delhi NCR in northern India and entire India. It is the fastest growing college. It offers a variety of courses from BTech, BBA, BCA, and students starting with law, architecture, and management. This is the best career choice that you shall be making for your children or for yourself. We provide 100% placements. The subject that we shall be discussing here are principles of software engineering. This is a CSE 6 semester subject. The syllabus is in accordance with MD University Rohtak. The topic we shall be discussing here are prototyping methods and tools, and I, Shalini from CSE department, shall be taking you forward. Prototyping. Prototyping is defined as the process of developing a working replication of a product or system that has to be engineered. Right? So, what is a prototype? A prototype is a basic working model. Similarly, if we like we used to do in our class, in our school projects, wherein suppose I had to show a solar electrification of a house, and so in a similar way the person will deploy it on the will make a model, and he'll deploy the panel on the rooftop, and then from there on he will show how the lighting system of the house is controlled by that solar panel. So that science model that you developed in your class or school is a prototype. Similarly, in software engineering also, we develop prototypes of software. A prototype of the end product is first developed, tested, and refined as per customer feedback repeatedly till a final acceptable prototype is achieved, which forms the basis for developing the final product. It is an iterative trial and error method which can take place between the developer and the client. Right, it's why it is iterative, because again and again you're doing making the prototype, and then again you're trying the prototype, that if it is correct working or not, if it is true to the adhering standard, if it is how it is performing in different situations. Right, and it's always like the developer makes it and he shows it to the client and the client gives its feedback. So this model is used when the customer do not know the exact project requirements beforehand, which is very correct. Like if the customer also doesn't know that what exactly he wants and his requirements are not well defined, so at that point what the developer or what the developing team can do is that they can start with prototyping. Prototyping model or prototyping method. We start with the requirements, quickly design, then we build a prototype, we give it to user for evaluation, then redefine the prototype and give again to user evaluation. And this process is continuing in a loop unless and until we get a final implemented project to maintain. Right? So we look at these steps all one by one. See, prototyping model has 6 STLC phases as we show in the figure. Step 1: requirements gathering and analysis. Our prototyping model starts with requirement analysis. In this phase, the requirements of the system are defined in detail. During the process, the users of the system are interviewed to know what is their expectations from the system. Right? So everything will start from the requirement analysis, but unless and until we know what the customer requires, we cannot proceed further. So this is always forms the first step of any model or any method. Right? Then we quickly design it. The second phase is a preliminary design or quick design. In this stage, a simple design of a system is created. However, it is not a complete design. It gives a brief idea to the system of this it gives a brief idea of the system to the user. The quick design helps in developing the prototype. Okay, now what quick design does is that we quickly design and we try to show the design to the customer, and we looks for his, and then it is just a brief idea as to how the system will be like. Okay, and then this will help in further evaluating the prototype. So it will be a kind of a roadmap, I can say, or I can say a path to the building of a prototype, right? So first, the developer, he took the requirement, then he quickly designed, like very efficiently he designed as to what exactly the idea he understood, and what exactly what exactly he will do. And he waits like for the user that, okay, is this okay, like is this what I have understood, right? And then what they do is that the developer build a prototype, right? So in this phase, an actual prototype is designed based on the information gathered from quick design. It is a small working model of the required system, which is very correct. See, in this phase, we are developing a prototype based on the design that we designed in step 2, right? So whatever that we made a design, on that basis we will going to build our prototype, right? So all the information that we collected from the requirement and all the design that we made is actually help us in making the prototype. It is a small working model, so it will show the customer the how this thing is being, like how it will actually, it will do the work, and then we'll further move forward to receive their feedback, right? So next step is initial user evaluation, that is step number 4. In this stage, the proposed system is presented to the client for an initial evaluation. It helps to find out the strength and weaknesses of the working model, which is very correct. What happens is that the proposed system, we propose it to the client because it is, we develop the prototype for him, right? For him to comment as to how he will react to it, and then we see his reaction, or we see whatever the feedback he's giving, the developer notes it, okay? And he tries to find out that what is wrong in this model, and what is how what are its pros and what are its cons, and how he can actually improve it, right? So comment and suggestions are collected from the customer and provided to the developer. Okay, so now based on the comments and based on the suggestions of the customer, now how it will proceed further, the developer will all work on his suggestions, on the customer suggestions, his evaluations, his feedback, and then he will try to refine his prototype, right? So if the user is not happy, so we come to the next stage of refining the prototype. See, if the user is not happy with the current prototype, so you need to refine the prototype according to his feedback, the user's feedback and suggestions, right? So this will not be over until all the requirements specified by the user are met. So once the user is satisfied with the developed prototype, a final system is developed based on the approved final prototype. Okay, so this will be repeated time and again, why? Because again you'll go again build the prototype, and then you'll again ask for his evaluation, right? And this will continue and continue up till when? Up till we get final nod, then the customer finally says, okay, yes, this is okay, or this is the one thing that I was looking for, then it is approved. And then finally in the last we implement and maintain it. So once the final system is developed, so based on the final prototype, it is thoroughly tested and deployed to production, right? So now it will be deployed into the production, and now the original production of the system will start. So the system undergoes routine maintenance for minimizing downtime and prevent large scale failures, right? So after delivering is also, after deploying also, then it will have continuous maintenance. So you can take step number 6 as implement, maintain as same, or you can try to bifurcate also if you want to increase the number of steps. So first in 6 you can say that we implement the product, in 7 you can say that we deploy the product, and in 8 you can say that we look for the maintenance of the prototype, right? So this is it. Now we come to the types of prototyping models. So how many types are there? There are rapid throwaway prototypes, evolutionary prototype, incremental prototype, and extreme prototype. And we look at try to understand all the four one by one. So we start with the rapid throwaway prototype. See, as the name suggests, so what can you infer from the name? The name is like rapid throwaway. It means you build something rapidly, just and you obtain the feedback and you then threw it, right? You threw the model. So it's similar, like it is the same. The rapid throwaway is based on the preliminary requirement, right? It is quickly developed to show how the requirement will look and visualize, right? And in this method, the developed prototype will be discarded, right? Because it is throwaway and will not be part of ultimately accepted prototype. So this will not be the final product. You throw away this, right? And this technique is useful for exploring ideas and getting instant feedbacks for customer requirements, which is very true. Like, because you develop something rapidly and then you rapidly develop and you rapidly collected his feedback. So this is just to actually gain an understanding of his requirements. So it will always be where the requirements are not clear, right? Next we come to evolutionary prototype. So here the prototype developed is incrementally refined based on customers' feedback until it is finally accepted. Right? It helps you to save time as well as effort. So this model is useful for a project which uses a new technology that is not well understood. It is also used for a complex project, right? So in evolutionary, the time and effort will be saved. Like how they will be saved, you will be developing and evolving. Evolving means you're evolving the same prototype. So you're making changes to the same prototype. So again and again and again and again and again, you're changing the main prototype unless and until it gives you the final product. Right? So it is changing the original one. So you're not throwing away, your resources are not getting waste, your effort is not getting any waste, your time is also saved, because again when you start from the scratch, it is very very difficult, because it will take time also, effort also, and it will take quite resources also, right? Next we come to incremental prototyping. In incremental prototyping, the final product is decimated into different small prototypes and developed individually, right? So what you do is that you decimate it, like you divide the product into very very small number of prototypes, and then you develop each of them individually. So eventually the different prototypes are merged into a single project, and then you merge all of them, right? So after dividing, you are actually trying to conquer all of them, right? You conquer them and again you merge them. So this method is useful to reduce the feedback time between the user and the application development team. So where do you find it useful? You find it useful wherein this feedback time is actually reduced, right? So why? Because you're developing in small models and you can show them individually, so you do not have to again waste that much of time into developing a single model. So you can make components and then you can show him. Next we come to extreme prototyping. See, this is used in web development, right? So, and it has three sequential phases. So basic prototype with all the existing page is present in the HTML format. Then you can stimulate data process using a prototype service layer. So what you're doing a simulation on a service layer, and the service are implemented and integrated into the final prototype, right? So you integrate it into the final one. This is extreme prototyping, and it's used in web development. Okay, and then we come to tools, right? See, efficiently using prototyping requires that an organization have the proper tools and staff trained to use those tools, right? Which is very very correct, because you need to have proper tools also to develop something, and you need to have people working on that tools who know how they work. So tools used in prototyping can vary from individual tools such as fourth generation programming language used for rapid prototyping to complex integrated case tool. Like it had a wide variety of range. You can choose from individual to group to anything. So fourth generation visual programming language like VB and Core Fusion are frequently used since they are cheap, well known, and relatively easy and fast to use. Case tools supporting requirement analysis like the requirements engineering environment are often developed or selected by the military or large organizations, right? So case tools are selected usually by defense and large organizations, they use them. Object oriented tools are also being developed like LIMP from GE Research and Development Center. User may prototype elements of an application themselves in a spreadsheet. As web based applications have the tools for prototyping such applications. Frameworks such as Bootstrap, Foundation, and AngularJS provide the tools necessary to quickly structure a proof of concept. And these frameworks they consist of set of controls, interactions, and design guidelines. What will the tool contains, what will the framework contain? They'll have some controls made into them. They'll how they're interacting with the system, how the user is interacting with the system, and what effects they are having, how they're then there'll be some design guidelines, and okay then like okay this tools function like this design like this. So they all help you to quickly prototype these web applications and stuff, right? So we come to an end of it. The important question is what is prototyping method? Describe, or he can ask you explain prototype model. So for both the things you know the answer, right? What are prototyping tools? Write a short note on it. So this is I've not seen it being asked, but still okay. Like it's in the syllabus, so we can do it. So we are done with prototyping methods and tools. So that's all for today. Thank you. Take care.